Welcome to your Barbados Today evening news update for Tuesday, September 29th. Barbadians are being urged not to let their guard down when it comes to the COVID-19 pandemic. The plea today from Prime Minister Mia Mottley as the world recorded the grim milestone of 1 million COVID-19 deaths. The Prime Minister described the numbers as heart-wrenching.
What is even more sobering about that 1 million statistic is that scientists commenting on that regrettable landmark have advised that on our present track as Mother Earth, we could lose another million souls to COVID before a vaccine is found. Do you understand what I'm saying? That COVID-19 is going to be around for a while. We in Barbados have to protect ourselves. We cannot play fast or loose. We have to respect and follow the guidelines. We have to rebound economically, but we also have to be responsible socially. 1 million souls have been lost. But as a people, as a nation, let us quicken our steps to a resolution. We may not discover the vaccine in this region, but we can minimize death and suffering in this region.
Of the million deaths, 7 were recorded in Barbados. The country has recorded 190 COVID-19 cases and 5 people are in isolation.
This is comforting, but it is not reassuring, because we are still, my friends, at risk. Let us be wise. Let us be vigilant, my brothers and sisters. Let us be responsible. COVID-19, yes, is present and is prevalent. But as we pay due respect to the fallen 1 million, let us each play our part in containing the number of new cases and by extension, preserving as many lives as we possibly can as we continue to hope and pray that one day soon we shall get on top of this pandemic. That one day soon, scientists the world over will act in unison to find a lasting solution to rid us of this dreaded virus. So my brothers and sisters, stay safe. Each one can take care of every other one by just doing what we know we need to do. Do not let our guards down.
Temporary public servants and those who have been acting in positions for over 3 years will receive their appointments in another 2 days. However, long-standing employees in the public service who do not meet those requirements will have to wait just a little while longer. Attorney General Dale Marshall, in tabling the Public Service Appointment Bill 2020 this morning, said government's decision to appoint those workers was the decent thing to do, as it would afford them a better way of life.
There are going to be some people who, I concede, will be disadvantaged by the operation of this bill. It is not intended to be a slight to them, but we feel that the system can be self-correcting if allowed to do so. But there are a large number of people that we feel it is important to deal with them right away, and that is our commitment. That is what this bill is intended to do. The other people, those people who the trade unions are concerned about, so for example, somebody who has been in the public service for 15, 18, 10, 7 years, and who may have acted in a post for 3 years but is not currently in that post, those people are not ineligible for appointment. What we are saying is that instructions have been given to the public service to redouble their efforts to ensure that those people get what is their due.
The Attorney General said going forward, seniority would not be the only criteria for being appointed, as merit was equally important. He also disclosed that police officers, as well as those in the prison service, were not covered in the bill.
We do not think that in Parliament that we should take unto ourselves the role of second-guessing the Services Commission of disciplined forces. The matter of the promotion of a police officer or a prison officer takes on much greater significance in terms of matters relating to national security and citizen safety when compared, sir, to the things that are the pursuit of other agents in the public service. I do not mean to suggest, Mr. Speaker, that other persons in the public service do not do jobs that are equally important. Don't mean to suggest that at all.
In his contribution to the debate, opposition leader Bishop Joseph Atherley suggested that government's move to appoint hundreds of workers on October 1st could be linked to the upcoming by-election in St. George North. While making it clear he was not opposing the move to appoint the workers, he queried the timing of the appointments.
I am speaking to a coincidence of timing. I am speaking to the matter of coincidence of timing. I was over there when that measure was brought to the Honorable Chamber and would have supported it because it purported to express itself in the interests of public servants in Barbados. I am not therefore ascribing any motive of any sort to that act in 2007. Simply pointing, Mr. Speaker, to coincidence of timing because we are now in the throes, based on what we have heard here today, of an election exercise in Barbados, particularly in the constituency of St. George North. So we have a matter like this being brought in this way, using the mechanism of this Parliament to ensure that it is achieved on the eve of a by-election in St. George North, and indeed, in the mind of some, on the eve of a general election in Barbados not too far down the road. I'm speaking about coincidence.
The flooding that occurred in the city as a result of heavy rain yesterday could have been worse if not for an improved drainage system. That's according to Home Affairs Minister Wilfred Abrams, who toured the flooded areas with Prime Minister Mia Mottley and other officials last evening. He said with 2 inches of rainfall in half an hour, the water at Murphy's pasture receded in quick time, preventing a serious flooding situation.
A lot of the people in Murphy's pasture said that with the amount of rain that they got, had the improvements not been done, the houses would have washed away and people would have had to be evacuated. So over 2 inches of rain fell in half hour, right? With the best will in the world, if you get that amount of rain in that shorter space of time, and if you were listening, if you actually experienced it last night, the best drainage system in the world is not going to help you. It is how fast does the water move off after the incident occurs. And the water in Murphy's pasture was receding very quickly last night. We went with the Prime Minister. We toured the pump house. We toured out there by Pelican Village. We went down to the Bayland. So a lot of the traditional areas that flood very badly and retain the water, although they may have experienced some challenges with the flooding, the water ran off very, very quickly. So don't start by asking me what went wrong last night. I think you should actually check with them and find out all the things that went right, because had it not been for the extensive works that were done to alleviate the flooding in those same problem areas last night, would have been a lot worse.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
News from the region. Trinidad and Tobago's Finance Minister Carl Imbert has made it clear that a devaluation of the country's dollar is not the answer at this time, despite the challenging environment brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic. We get more of that story from TV6 News.
The exchange rate averaged 6.8 Trinidad and Tobago dollars to $1 on Monday, as the government held its pre-budget virtual event from the Hyatt Regency Hotel. Finance Minister Colm Imbert said the central bank has been working over the past few weeks at his request on a model on the net effect of devaluing the TT dollar at this time, as he spoke of the economic impact of the COVID-19 pandemic.
And the increase in government revenues, minimal. We're talking less than 100 million US dollars, 30-40 million US dollars is the numbers I saw. But inflation will go from 1% to 6% or 7% immediately, and the standard of living in Trinidad and Tobago will decline immediately. So we continue at this time, now that foreign inflows are very low, to believe that devaluation is not the answer at this time.
The Trinidad and Tobago dollar was last devalued in the 1980s. The finance minister said the COVID-19 crisis has resulted in lower oil and natural gas production and the depressed prices of both commodities, which has resulted in much less inflows of US dollars than in 2018 and 2019.
And on the international front, tens of millions of U.S. voters are expected to tune in tonight for the highly expected presidential debates. President Donald Trump and Joe Biden will go head-to-head in the first of 3 debates. More in this report from Reuters TV.
President Donald Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden will meet face-to-face in Cleveland, Ohio on Tuesday for the first presidential debate of the 2020 election. With 5 weeks to go until November 3rd, the stakes are high, and Reuters political correspondent James Oliphant says Tuesday night's debate will be the most important one of the 3 that are scheduled.
I think the first debate really is going to be the one that matters the most for a couple of reasons. One, interest is going to be at an all-time high. People are going to want to tune in, see how Biden acts, see how Trump acts, get a feeling for the race and the dynamic between the two of them. The other thing is that a lot of people are voting. And they're going to be voting more in October as these debates go on. So for whatever, small group of Americans who are making up their mind, that group is going to get smaller as these debates go on. And so, this might be the prime opportunity for Trump, certainly, to change the dynamic of the race. It may not help if he has his best debate in a month.
That's news. But for the very latest, visit us at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media in bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. And you can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM.